just a few weeks ago, Last of Us Season 2 finished up, and I'm just gonna say it's a big disappointment. Hi, my name is Nathan, and I talk about a lot of movies, and in this case, TV shows on this channel. If you're new here, down below in the comment section, share what you thought of The Last of Us Season 2, and over on my channel, I have more content like this. Check those out once this video is over. With all that said, I'm just gonna get straight into the review on this one, and explain why I did not like The Last of Us Season 2. So, full disclosure here, I have not played the video game The Last of Us Part 2. I don't even have a PlayStation to do that. The only console I have is an Xbox One. So down below in the comment section, let me know if I should get a PlayStation and if it's worth it or if I should play some games. Because I like playing video games sometimes. But, anyways, my relationship with The Last of Us is pretty much entirely based on the show that they've dropped on HBO, where I watched the first season on debut when it came out, and I really dug it. Like most people, I really liked season 1. I'm not a hardcore Last of Us fan, so I found that to be just a great season of television. And let's just get, you know what, I forgot to say at the beginning of this video, this will be a spoiler review. So since I haven't talked about anything specific right now, spoilers ahead, and if you haven't seen The Last of Us Season 2, go watch it, and then come back to this video. And so when they did announce Season 2, I had known for some time that The Last of Us Part 2, the game, was probably one of the most controversial games, or maybe the most controversial game, divisive game, in maybe the past 5 years of every game that have dropped since 2020 to now. The Last of Us Part 2 has 50% of people extremely passionately loving it and defending it, and 50% extremely frustrated and disappointed and confused as to what they did with the story here. And I went into this season not knowing what I was going to think about it all that much. I just knew it was The Last of Us, and so I'm excited. The trailers looked great, and the show debut, and by the time we got to the end of it, all I could think about was that this was an extreme disappointment. I guess I'm on this side of people. There seems to be no middle ground when it comes to The Last of Us Season 2 and The Last of Us Part 2, but I didn't feel like much of it worked at all, and I don't know if it's because they changed some stuff from the game that didn't work, or if it's because this was the exact translation from the game, but I just know that this really didn't work for me. Spoilers ahead right now. Little warning I'm floating at you. I just thought that, there was just so many things about this season that drastically made it fall off. I didn't think it was good, nearly as good as the first one, and I certainly didn't think it was even good or decent as a season itself. So right off the bat, I knew that at the beginning of this season that Joel was going to die. I did know that. In my time on the internet, some video or some post or something probably spoiled that for me. And so I was very curious to see how they would carry on without Joel in this one. I knew it was a revenge plot of some sort, and that's exactly what this is. And I feel like because they promoted Ellie to the lead, and this is set 5 years later after Season 1, by the way, I just don't feel like Bella Ramsey was a believable Ellie in this case. And that's not because of Bella Ramsey's performance. I don't think it's her performance. Like, a lot of people claim that it's her performance that ruins all of it. I don't think so. I just don't think that because it's set 5 years after Season 1, and this season came out 2 years after Season 1, like, Bella Ramsey did not age 5 years, so she looks the exact same as she did in Season 1, and she still acts the same way as she did in Season 1. In which case, you're supposed to transition from 14-year-old girl to 19-year-old girl, and she still feels like a 14-year-old girl with all the immature antics that her character does, and she doesn't feel believable as this grown adult now in this case, that is so driven about revenge, about what they did to Joel, and so angry, so blinded by her rage that she that the message it's trying to get across is that revenge isn't the answer, and that she is going to end up becoming the monster. And it didn't feel believable to me, because she's still cracking jokes with her friends and things like that. And her character is also written to be very annoying and unlikable and inconsistent. Once again, I'm not hating on Bella Ramsey here or anything like that. I don't want to do that. But the way they wrote her character is to be annoying, and where all the people around her are kind of just like babysitting her, especially like Jessie in the final episode is just kind of there to walk around and babysit her. She's very unlikable, especially in the first couple episodes, like how she treats Joel, like absolutely horribly, and an inconsistent character as well. Like there's literally a part in the finale where her and Jessie encounter a child getting tortured, and Ellie's first instinct is to go and help that child, and so now she's not blinded by revenge anymore. She wants to go do the right thing and help this person and stop him from being tortured. And then in the very next scene, she abandons Jessie, her actual friend, in order to go off and hunt Abby because she knows exactly where Abby is. That just seems very inconsistent. That doesn't seem like the same person. And then later on in the finale episode, Jessie says something like, "Oh, I went back and rescued you because I know you would do everything to rescue me if you were in my position." And that seems so confusing because that's not consistent with the Ellie character. She's not written like that. And because you have this annoying, unlikable lead that kind of needs everybody around her to babysit her, it just simply doesn't, you can't latch onto the character. And I don't hate Ellie, but I don't really like Ellie either at the same time. And it's kind of ironic because when the game came out, a lot of people were hating on the Abby character and liking the Ellie character and wanting her to take her revenge. And now, if you go online and anything about The Last of Us, you'll see people hating on Ellie and actually kind of liking Abby. It's kind of an opposite effect here. I thought everything with Abby was fine. I'm just kind of spoiling out my thoughts here. No good, no bad, or anything like that. I don't think the message came across right in this season. That revenge is an ineffective way of dealing with grief. It doesn't come off as that mainly because the way they wrote Ellie does not fully apply to this message that they're trying to communicate. Like I just previously mentioned before about the kid being tortured and things like that. And there's a subplot going on in here in the background about these soldiers and these scars, these savage people in the forest and these soldiers, and their rivalry going on between the two. And it feels like it's just not interesting. There's just nothing interesting here about that rivalry. It just seems kind of there for filler. In fact, in the finale, there's something this scene that adds nothing, where Ellie goes off to this island, gets taken hostage by these scars, is about to get executed, and then is immediately set free due to a loophole, and decides to keep going on for a quest for revenge, which adds absolutely nothing. I don't even know why that scene was there, other than to pad out the runtime a little bit. I don't even know what sort of message is shown from that. And so it wasn't interesting. It was just kind of there in the background. And the way they ended this season in particular just leaves it in such an unsatisfying note, where they decide to end it on a cliffhanger, and not the good cliffhanger, the one that I have to wait a couple of years for the next season, and in this case just to see this entire thing from Abby's viewpoint. I think that's what the next one is. It feels like they're stretching out this story for a while. There's a couple episodes in the middle where actually nothing happens, and I don't know why those episodes were there. And then the episodes that kind of close things out don't really close anything out. They just cut to Abby at the end, and you think Ellie might have died or something like that, and that's where it ends, and you have to find out in a couple years if she really died or not. It just leaves it so unsatisfying, so unfulfilling for the journey that we've been on, and it feels like they're just padding out this because people like season 1. And so naturally you want a long-running show that people enjoy, but this just wasn't it here. If I had to say some positives about it, there are some good things in this show. I thought there was a massive production here. Absolutely, HBO has the budget to make large-in-scale movies and shows in this case. The Jackson zombie fight in the second episode, absolutely incredible production there. It does have some large emotions in that particular episode, especially because Joel dies in it. And to its credit and to its fault as well, I feel like only the parts with Joel in it were really interesting. I didn't think anything else was as interesting as Joel. Like, there's literally a flashback episode, which is the one right before the finale, and I found that episode more enjoyable and more interesting than pretty much all the episodes without Joel in them. And so, you could really feel his presence was missing. Like, he was a character that was just so good, so well written. You wanted to spend more time with him, and the first thing they do here is that they kill him off. And I'm not even mad about them killing him off, but I am a little bit frustrated that they couldn't find another way to make, like, Ellie compelling. The way they wrote her character and the message is trying to get across is so unfulfilling. It ends on this bizarre cliffhanger. I wasn't a big fan of any of that. So, with all that said, I just really didn't like this season of this show. Hopefully they would be back with Season 3 and maybe a potential Season 4, as the creators say. But as of right now, I really didn't like Season 2. So if Season 1 was up here, Season 2 is overall right here, like a C-. Yeah, there was just not a lot to enjoy here other than the production quality, the cinematography, and anything with Joel in it. Everything else about this was just either nothing happens or Ellie just being really unlikable. And so, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on The Last of Us Season 2. Down below in the comment section, share what you thought of it. Over on my channel, I have more content like this. Check those out right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end, and I will see you in the next one.